Using vulgar language, President Trump today questioned why the United States would allow people from Haiti and Africa into the country.
Toxic fallout spreading from President Trump's racist comments.
Said, why are we having all these people from whole countries come here?
We are SocMed, a group of undergraduate and health professional students from Rwanda, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and the United States. We began meeting in early January in Uganda to learn about the social determinants of health.
The current president of the USA, Donald Trump, reportedly described Africa as a shithole country. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated brief. The continent of Africa is often negatively stereotyped and stigmatized. We are here to offer an alternative analysis of the word shithole, using Africa's structural and historical context in order to deepen our understanding beyond surface level observations.
Structural violence.
Structural violence is a term first coined by Norwegian sociologist Johan Galtung.
In his words, it refers to a form of violence within some social structures or social institutions which may harm people by preventing them from meeting their basic needs.
History! Africa is a continent made up of 54 countries. Africa is historically deep and geographically broad.
Africa was once a land where people were united through diverse cultures until the Berlin Conference, an international conference held in 1884, where Western nations convened to settle issues regarding scrambling and partitioning of Africa, resulting in colonization.
Colonization brought imposing forces of division amongst people. This led to endless intercultural wars that have contributed to the current African status, characterized by underdevelopment, poor healthcare, low quality of technology, and so many others.
International organizations. International organizations do not actively involve African countries in decision making. A point in case. In the Washington Consensus, the IMF, the World Bank, and the US Treasury made policies on neoliberalism that still affect African countries today. National organizations should therefore involve Africa actively in every decision that they make, instead of making decisions that are in the best interest of those people who sit on those boards without actively involving the Africa. Training and education.
In 2004, over 5,000 physicians practicing in the U.S. were trained in 22 African countries. In 2013, over 10,000 physicians practicing in the U.S. obtained degrees from 28 African countries.
This shows how competitive African education is on the global scale. But we still have a long way to go. We need to challenge our African leaders to ensure equal educational opportunities across all genders and social classes.
There is a need to prioritize education when developing budgets for provision of educational resources and for adequate and competitive compensation for our educators.
Healthcare.
The African population is affected by a lot of social determinants of health, some including low per capita income, low levels of health education and knowledge, unemployment and poor employment conditions, and housing.
Due to the low economic status of most African countries, the majority are unable to afford enough and quality health delivery materials, produce enough health workers, and facilitate them well. As such, they flee their countries and leave behind a suffering population.
In spite of all those challenges, physicians like Dr. Sheikh Kumal Khan and Dr. Matthew Lukia have lost their lives to Ebola while saving lives of many. Also, the community health workers do a lot of work without pay. These heroes cannot be forgotten.
Opportunity.
Many educational and economic opportunities are underutilized or have not been created in African countries. Structures like free trade agreements, the IMF, and the World Bank have imposed debilitating limitations and made unfair competition for local industries.
But there are also many opportunities that we can work towards. Africa has one of the fastest growing economies in the world, as well as one of the largest youthful populations who need gainful employment.
Leaders of African countries must utilize their population and the many social and economic opportunities to address the social and economic injustices which deny majority of Africans access to quality healthcare and the many other basic human rights.
Leadership.
It is perceived that Africans cannot lead, which has its roots in colonialism. Some African leaders have led with self-interest and greed while ignoring the needs of their people.
However, Africa has produced outstanding leaders such as Nelson Mandela, Patrice Lumumba, and Ellen Johnson. Moreover, Rwanda has the most female representation in parliament. The Treatment Action Campaign, for example, fought to make antiretroviral drugs accessible and affordable for all.
Leadership society's stated progress. If we are going to change the state of African countries, we must start with accountable leadership from within and beyond.
Economy. Localized economic systems have gradually become interconnected, resulting in a globalized economic system, a system dominated by neoliberal principles such as free trade and maximizing profits. This framework is directly opposed to interests of developing countries.
Alas, in order to grow economically, developing nations must join the international community. Yet economic power is used to coerce less wealthy economic countries to cater for the interest of the dominant ones, rather than focus their own priorities. Instead of supporting the budding economies, economic globalization has become a means of oppression.
As SocMed, we have learned the art of not taking things at face value, but to challenge ourselves, to dig deeper and understand the reasons why situations appear the way they do. We challenge you to #DigDeeper in order to understand the complexity of situations.
Dig, 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 dig,
dig,
dig, dig,
dig, dig deeper.
Dig deeper.